This is the Altitude Daily Podcast. Everything you can't miss from today on Altitude Sports Radio. The Morning Sprint.
It will be, for the first time back in Denver, without general manager Calvin Booth, without, for the first time in 10 years, head coach Michael Malone, as both head coach and GM have been fired by the Denver Nuggets with 3 games remaining in the regular season in the middle of a 4-game losing streak. The Nuggets purge their GM and their head coach, Michael Malone, out. Calvin Booth, out.
Sports is big business, Raj, and I've become a part of it myself, and days like this are never easy. I think even lots of Nuggets fans right now are thinking back to memories of Michael Malone as the head coach of this franchise, thinking about the parade, sideways ball cap on, bling on from the players. But the reality of the situation is there were some symptoms, there were some signs that were too blatantly obvious at this point in time. The Kroenke family and Josh in particular made the decision to move on. And I think it is with the blessing of Nikola Jokic. And I think that's going to be an interesting storyline for us to cover.
It is the storyline.
Where is Nikola Jokic at in all of this decision-making? Because I don't think Nikola Jokic is the type of personality nor the type of figure on this team to dictate the terms. But did it get so far away from where this team needed to be that Nikola Jokic also was getting to the point of frustrations, to the point of we need a new voice? That's what happened.
It is the storyline. Whether or not Nikola Jokic was made aware of this prior, whether or not he was given the option to say yes or no to it.
It had to have been that, Raj.
And if it wasn't, that should sound alarm bells in your head.
A lot of questions right now are coming up. I mean, our text thread is just getting flooded with information, even talking about Jamal Murray. Like Jamal Murray is going to sit out in the playoffs as a result of this. Frankly, I think it might quite frankly be the opposite. I think Jamal Murray, this might be a shot in the arm for Jamal Murray. And one thing that I've noticed.
A shot in the arm for Jamal Murray, the 2 dudes that pushed for him to be back are gone now. You can make the argument that this firing is because of the Jamal Murray contract.
The Altitude Daily. Mosher, Lombardi, and Kane.
So the Nuggets are outside of the teams you mentioned. Forget about the Lakers. They're really good in the conference. But outside of Minnesota that has 31 wins, the Nuggets are pretty damn good.
The Nuggets are better than every other team in the conference record. You're exactly right. They would lose every tiebreaker to Minnesota. They would lose every tiebreaker to the Lakers. Those are the 2 teams in which
so
they
Minnesota
do not want
would go
tiebreakers.
to 4, you would drop down to 5.
And then you would have to play Minnesota in the first round on the road.
Yeah. Golly, man. Here's the thing. You sleep for a couple of games.
Yeah.
I was thinking more about this.
This
too.
is the bet they made, though.
Yeah,
they made this bet.
I know they did. But you sleep for a couple of games or you goof off for a couple of games, and all of a sudden, dude, you find yourself from the number 2 hole all the way down.
Yeah.
To potentially,
you know what?
Friggin' play.
You know what? The Nuggets are better off being in the 7th seed. If they end up in the 7th seed, they would play Houston in the first round. Would you rather play Houston in the first round or Minnesota?
No, I'll tell you this.
Houston. But no, give me the Nuggets, or give me the Joker numbers from, let's say, the last 5 games again.
He's averaging 41, close to 13 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Okay. If I said to you, hey, Giannis is averaging 41, 13, and 10 in his last 8 games, yet the Bucks are only 2-6. What would you say about the rest of that team?
They aren't doing their job.
What would you think about the roster? Giannis is going 41, 13, and 10, and they're 2-6. What would you say about the rest of the roster?
That they aren't very good. I mean, what do you? Is
yeah,
that what you're getting at?
That's exactly right. I don't want to say that about the Denver Nuggets, Vic. I don't want to say, you know what, they're just not good. Well, I don't want to say that because they think they are good.
Okay, 2 things here, real quick.
What are we going to do with this evidence that's piled up in front of you? That's all I'm saying.
2 things here, real quick. First of all, I'll tell you where I'm at with the Nuggets. You know what I want as far as a first-round matchup? I want Minnesota. Get over it or don't. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't... The way I feel about this team, I don't want to...
torture?
I don't want to draw it out. I'm like, you're either going to figure this thing out immediately or you're not, and then you have stuff to fix in the offseason.
I like that attitude.
You know what?
fine
I'm
with
sort of there too, to be honest with you.
I'm like, give me the Minnesota matchup, and let's just see what you're made of.
I'm done
Let's see
running.
what you guys got.
The Altitude Daily. Columbus, Hastings, and DMAC.
Well, it's a shocking development. Stunning. As Michael Malone and Calvin Booth are out. And it's interesting how the Nuggets organization has sort of framed this. Nuggets relieve head coach Michael Malone of duties, will not extend Calvin Booth. I am absolutely stunned. It's the latest coaching change since forever. And we're here to react to it and get your opinion on it. And you can call. You can use the voice of the people on the app. We're paying attention to everything you can imagine. So a fascinating day to get your reaction, Tyler.
Boy, look, we all knew there was going to be some big-time changes at the end of this season. And if you would have put me on the spot yesterday, I would have probably said, yep, Calvin Booth, GM, gets fired at the end of the year. Michael Malone probably survives. That's probably what I would have said yesterday.
Yeah.
And then when we get the news today, Michael Malone was the first domino. That was the first one that fell. And then it was just about 10 minutes later we got the news about Calvin Booth. I don't understand, to be totally honest with you, the timing of it. I really do not. Something's going down. I don't know what conversations were had behind the scenes. I guess my big surprise of it with Michael Malone, and gosh, you would have thought, like, dang, he's done a lot around here. Just 2 years out, they like maybe do it in the offseason right now. Why right now? Why right now?
Well, there must be something logically going on right now that they think they can solve that they couldn't solve heading into the playoffs. So in my opinion, this move right now is because they do think they can win using a different approach. The Calvin Booth, maybe the will not extend Calvin Booth is just simply...
That's just semantics.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up, or at least I would not get caught up on that. He's out.
Right, but I think it's for probably different reasons than for Coach Malone. I think it's he's being held accountable for past decisions, and Malone is being held accountable for decisions that could still be made for the rest of this year. Scott Hastings, your reaction?
Well, my phone's been blown up. Sorry I'm a little late. I've been let's see, 3 calls, and one of them I didn't answer because I was on another call.
Okay.
Just in the last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Shocked at the timing, not necessarily surprised.
The Altitude Daily. Kretman and Lindahl.
Nuggets owner Josh Kroenke spoke to Vic Lombardi earlier today. We ran the audio in hour number 1. We will re-air that coming up at 20 minutes after 4 o'clock. You will want to hear directly from the owner of the Denver Nuggets, and Josh Kroenke explains the timing of the move and what the Nuggets are hoping to accomplish by doing this 3 games before the start of the postseason. Vic Lombardi sat down with Josh earlier today. He joins us right now on the Ramos Law Hotline. Car accident, you need Ramos Law, medical doctor and attorney. Visit ramoslaw.com. Vic, hell of a day today. We're calling it Black Tuesday here within the Denver Nuggets. But before we just get to the why of all of it, what was your overarching reaction to this happening today and Malone and Booth both being out?
Initial reaction was shock, like everyone else. The shock of the now, the shock of the timing, not the shock of the decision, to be totally honest with you. I did believe in my heart of hearts that something was going to happen eventually with one of those positions. Something. I did not expect both to happen at 11 a.m. this morning. That was news to me. And, again, I was summoned to Ball Arena, and I figured, well, that's it for Vic. I just got fired for something I said on the radio. And it was a completely different story. And it's something that, guys, you've been in this business long enough. Both of you have. This is pro sports. It makes no sense. 2 years ago, we're sitting on a stage at Civic Park celebrating the first ever championship, celebrating two guys who helped make it happen, a coach who helped cultivate a culture, a GM who put together the missing pieces to give this team what it needed, that extra oomph. 2 years later, it all comes crashing down. I'd like to tell you it's an aberration, but it happens in sports. The Lakers fired Frank Vogel a year after they won their championship. Milwaukee, they fired Budenholzer. What was it, a year after they won their championship?
I believe 4 of the last 6 title-winning coaches, Vic, have been fired in the NBA.
I just never seen a massive sweep like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gives this one some uniqueness, clearly. It wasn't one person. And I like to believe that, as I told the PhD crew, this is like Dad in the car saying, if you guys can't get along, I'm going to pull this car over. Well, today the car was pulled over.
You've been listening to the Altitude Daily. Catch us live weekdays on 92.5 FM, the Altitude Sports Radio app, twitch.tv/AltitudeSR, youtube.com @Altitude Sports Radio, and your favorite smart speaker. Say Altitude Sports Radio.